Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Let's try and get my focus right. Actually, no, hold on. I want to make sure everyone sees my quarantine mustache. I've been trying to grow a mustache for my entire life, and the one good thing about COVID is now got the stash. Hey, it's your boy, Derek here. It's been an interesting past few months, to say the least. It's been nice to see a lot of you guys come back in at the music shop. Had lots of conversations about what's been going on with COVID and everything. But I've seen a lot of new faces as well. And a lot of people seem kind of confused about guitar. Maybe they want to get into the hobby. They have a little bit more of time and a little bit more of a budget to do it. So I figured I'd take some time and try and demystify what the guitar is and all the things you might need. And simply, how do you get started? Hopefully this dancing is good for the music I pick. Probably not, though. And pretty much all you need for an acoustic guitar is an acoustic guitar. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe, ring that bell, get updates, all that jazz. Our album of the month is Trish Rob's album. What? What's that? There's actually a lot more to guitar than that. There's a lot more than that. There's no one actually here and I'm just talking to myself like a crazy person. So yeah, it's actually a lot more complicated than that. Basically, the most important thing about finding an acoustic guitar, and basically this sounds really stupid, is you have to find a guitar that fits you. Oh my god, Derek, that's so simple. Why are you making a video about this? Well, shut up and I'll tell you. I've seen a lot of people trying to play guitar on a guitar that's not the right size for them whatsoever. And this leads to lots of bad habits, generally sloppier play, and people just giving up on the habit altogether. Guitars come in a whole host of different sizes. They come in 1/2 and 3/4 size for children and teens, and they even come in a bunch of different full sizes, like a dreadnought, or a concert hall, or even a parlor size. I myself, for the longest time, played a guitar that was way too big for me, and it just didn't work out. Oh, Derek, there's a guitar that's too big for you? Oh, that's funny, because you're huge. Okay, stop fat shaming. And this is weird, because it's actually the monologue in my head, and no, there's no one actually here. I was playing a guitar that was known as a mini jumbo, which, while being an oxymoron, was way too big, and it didn't sit properly in my lap, and I just had no interest in playing it. Really, the best way to find a guitar that's the best size for you is to just go to a music store like this and sit down with a bunch of different guitars. A general rule of thumb for finding the right guitar for you, if you can get your first finger onto the top E string like so, without straining yourself, then you should be fine. Another thing to note while trying out guitars is just how they sound. Guitars can be made from a whole host of different tone woods, and they can range in quality. While I'll go into pricing into another part of this video, you need to know that there are certain different types of woods that sound really good together. An example of this would be like a spruce top with rosewood back and sides. Additionally, you need to look at the actual quality of the wood. A lot of cheaper guitars that you might be starting out with will have something called a laminate top, which is basically a bunch of thinner pieces of wood smushed together, and it doesn't sound as good as a solid piece of wood, and it won't last as long, hypothetically. I'm sweating bullets in here. It's like 80 degrees in this store, and I had to turn off the AC so I could record this. I am straining myself for you! Derek, acoustic guitars are awful. Oh, why are you doing that? Gordon Lightfoot, more like Gordon Stupid. I want to play electric guitar and shake my house's foundations and wake up my neighbors four houses down. This is so lame. First, please stop interrupting me, little boy, or whatever's going on right now. And secondly, we have you covered there too. A lot of the same principles that we have for acoustic guitars can carry over to electric guitars too. They do come in 1/2 and 3/4 size guitars, but generally speaking, the general body shape of an electric guitar can be all over the place. The major difference between the two instruments comes down to that whole electricity element. For acoustic guitars, you really only need an acoustic guitar to start, but for an electric guitar, you need an amplifier, which is something that's completely different for some people. Amps come in 2 different types, solid state and tube. Generally speaking, solid state amps are generally a lot lighter in weight, have more options for built-in effects, and can be cheaper, while tube amps are generally a lot heavier, will require maintenance, and are generally used for more professional or recording settings. In the case of a new player, most solid state amps will give them the most bang for their buck. with built-in effects and presets. A good example of this would be the Line 6 Spider series, or the Katana amps from Boss. Additionally, you're going to need a patch cord to plug the guitar into the amp. These are simple things, but not things that everyone thinks about. So this one can be a little bit scary for some people. I've seen some people that think they have to spend thousands of dollars to get a decent guitar, and then I've seen other people who think they should just have to pay $50. Amazingly, it's somewhere in the middle. I basically like to break down guitars into 3 different categories for budget. You have your entry levels, which are $400 and under, your mid-range, which are $400 to $1,200, and then your professional series, which are $1,200 and up. For most guitars in the $400 and under range, generally speaking, you're going to get a laminate top, which won't sound as nice as a solid wood guitar. For the $400 to $1,200 range, you'll get a nicer guitar overall. You'll have a solid wood top, sometimes solid wood back and sides, you'll have nicer finish options, and different colors and designs. In the case of a guitar line like Godin, the guitars will actually be made in Canada. And then for the $1,200 and up range, this is basically where you see the larger guitar companies, Gibson, Martin, Taylor, etc., or the small batch custom-made guitars, kind of like the Wolf guitars that we sell here at the shop. Do you need to start out with a Wolf guitar? No, but it would be a total power move, and that would be awesome. Most likely you'll be looking for something in that $400 and under range, something like the Beaver Creek lines or Denver lines that we generally sell here a lot for starters. But if you really want to get into it and you have a little bit of a bigger budget, you should probably look in that kind of $400 to $1,200 range. In that range, you'll get a guitar that will probably last you your entire life if you take care of it, and the jump between the entry level and the middle tier is way bigger in quality than the jump between the middle tier and the high-end tier. That being said, another solid option would be buying used. We here at the shop try and have a number of used guitars in that would be solid options for starters. But that can come with its own pitfalls. So if you're going into something like a pawn shop to try and find a used guitar, you might want to go in with someone who actually knows a little bit more about guitars so you're not getting ripped off. And the last thing you'll probably need to make your musical life way easier are some accessories. So I'm going to break down a few of the more common ones just for you guys right now. Probably the biggest accessory that you're going to need is a case for your guitar. In most cases, pun not included, a gig bag or a hard shell case are not included with the actual guitar. Both gig bags and hard shell cases have their advantages. Gig bags are a lot easier to carry around, while hard shells will give you a lot more protection, say if you're going on a trip or a flight. Remember when people used to fly in planes to different parts of the world? That was crazy times, right? Ha! COVID. Generally speaking, gig bags start around $40 and can go up from there, while hard shells, we generally sell the cheapest ones at $110. Another important lifesaver will be a tuner. Listen, it's extremely important for you and for the people around you that your guitar is in tune. Most cases, if you're starting out, tuning by ear can be like way too difficult and just a pain in the butt. The most common tuner that we sell here are the snark tuners. They're that right match of ease of use and nice quality. Another thing you'll see a lot of people using are guitar picks. As you might imagine, they help you play. There are a whole series of different materials and different makes whenever it comes to guitar picks. There's not a starter pick like a lot of people ask. Generally speaking, the most common one we would sell would be the yellow Tortex pick. Your usage is going to vary drastically. Maybe you want one with a grip on it. Maybe you want one that's thicker. Maybe you want one that's lighter. Basically, you just have to go buy picks and see what you think. Most picks are 50 cents. It's not the most expensive thing in the world. For the world of electric guitars, one thing you're going to see a lot of are pedals. Pedals are essentially circuit boards you plug in between your guitar and your amplifier that can change your sound. The most common one you'll see are distortion pedals. A lot of people like that. They just do what you think. They distort the sound of your guitar, and they have this beautiful rock and roll sound. And another very important thing you might be looking for a guitar, especially acoustic guitar, is a capo. Now, I've heard a lot of people call these cheaters. I don't know why. Maybe that was just like an old generational thing. But basically what a capo does is it allows you to change the key of the guitar, but still keep all of your same chord shapes. You see a lot of capo use in pop songs, country music, folk, that sort of thing. So depending on what type of music you're wanting to play, you might need a capo. So there we go. That was a very generalized outlook on what you need for a guitar. Basically, the most important thing you need to take away from this is you need to go sit down with a bunch of different guitars and just see what feels right for you. It's very easy to be told what you need in a guitar. Lots of people on the internet will be happy to tell you that everything you think about a guitar is wrong and you're a moron. The important thing is you need to realize that this is entirely your preference. Not everyone likes the same style of music, not everyone thinks that the same thing sounds great. So you need to focus on what you like. And the other important thing is, you need to realize if you have a question, you should not be afraid to ask. I know when you come into a music shop like this, it's kind of daunting. There's stuff everywhere. We might have music blasting. We might be in the middle of doing a repair or talking to someone in the back. Really, if you have a question, please ask us, because 9 times out of 10, everyone who's in the shop and picks up a guitar off the wall and starts playing it was in the exact same spot that you were.